Well, holy shit, guys. My last update, I had 113 subs, and I was freaking out. Holy fucking shit, my subscribers have more than quadrupled. Now I'm at over 2,000 subscribers, and I honestly can't really believe it. So I'm just gonna jump right in and break down my financial situation. It is October 25th, 2025. My net worth is minus $42,124. That is up $2,148 since my last update. My student loan is a whopping $117,000, and I have about $2,800 in my checking account, a few hundred in savings, and then about minus $5,000 on my credit card because I just went to France, whoopsies, and then about $335 on my Amex because they gave me this yearly cashback refund. I expect to be at about minus $35,000 by the end of 2025, which means that I would have increased my net worth by about $27,000 in 1 year. Now you might be saying, why do you care about net worth? If you're trying to pay off your student loan, shouldn't you be more focused on working off this debt and not your net worth? And I'll tell you the reason. It's because I'd like to have money tied up in things that actually make money, like stocks, rather than paying off my student loans that have this 0% interest. Now, some commenters will say things like, okay, you're getting married, cut off your wedding, cut off your pets, pay off your debt first. And yeah, for $117,000, this is going to take about 20 years. And I think this sort of misses the point of the channel. I want to get married. I want to have pets. I want to travel. I've studied hard for 8 years, earned my PhD, and I make a decent salary. I make about $41 per hour right now. I'm not even a year into my job. The average for where I live in Canada is $30.23 per hour. So this is about 38% higher than the average. So this is pretty good. Now, maybe not to your standard, but it's still much higher than the average. The purpose of tracking and being careful about where our money is going and how we're spending it is what will allow us to do the things that we want. Now, I currently make about $4,600 per month. This is after tax. I recently just got an 8% raise, and then I expect another 8% raise in the new year. I split my expenses equitably with my fiance, so I pay about 58% of everything. I make about $2,400 per year in dividends that are automatically reinvested. So my post-tax income is about $57,000 per year. After everything gets paid, like groceries, student loans, rent, etc., I have about $909 left over each month. And this is what I call my free cash. So I'll put that into things that I care about, like my rainy day fund. So about 43% goes into my rainy day fund, my wedding fund, and my RRSP. And I've sort of separated them with a percent allocation based on what I think makes sense. The rainy day fund will get used for maybe traveling expenses or paying my shitty ass 2009 Honda Fit that is on the brink. And in the end, this means that about 21% of my income is going directly towards increasing my net worth, as in dividend reinvestments, student loan payments, and my RRSPs. Now, if we want to increase our net worth, we have to do two things, right? We have to earn more money and we have to spend less. So maybe let's just talk about trying to make more money to begin with, since that's a little bit more exciting. I currently make about $55,000 at my job after taxes per year. Now, with the 8% raise, I expect in the new year that amounts to about $4,420 every year, or $368 per month in addition. So there's an option, of course, to change jobs like most people do at my age to make a little bit more money. This is a good way to get sort of a raise. But I just started and I'm pretty happy where I am. I'm making decent money compared to the average, and I'm gaining good experience. So I'm pretty happy with that. I get a little over $2,000 per year in dividends, or $200 per month. And as I invest more, that will continue to grow. I'll be making more passive income. And then there's also YouTube, which currently pays nothing, but someday it might. I currently have a little over 2,000 watch hours out of the 4,000 that YouTube requires to become monetized. And as you can see, I'm about 58% the way there. And if I assume $5 on every 1,000 views, which might actually be a conservative estimate, and I have 64,000 views in the past 28 days, that amounts to about $320 per month, which is a really massive amount of money. And in reality, this might be a massive overestimate, but even an extra $100 per month, that's still pretty incredible for only uploading a couple YouTube videos. So I'm really, really happy about that. Now, what about trying to spend less money? And by spend less, I mean spending less on things that don't bring much value to my life, or trying to spend less money and achieve an equivalent outcome. For example, I recently went to France. I stayed with a good friend. This probably saved thousands of dollars because the cost of accommodation is so very high. There are certain things that you would not be comfortable cutting out, like I'm happy with the rent that I pay. It's kind of expensive, $1,600, but it's about the average, and I'm happy with where I live. And for example, I'd rather pay this money than be homeless. So this is not really something that we can decrease. And in terms of trying to cut down spending, it's pretty hard to find a place to cut this down. If my wedding is in 2 years, then after that, I'll have 35% of my free cash flow to allocate, which is currently an extra $318 per month, which is quite nice. Most of my other expenses like food, phone bills, eating out, electricity are all pretty acceptable. It's hard to cut these down beyond what they already are. $369 per month on eating out might seem like quite a lot, but I enjoy spending time with friends and family over a meal from time to time. So it's kind of hard to cut this down. As you can see, I think most of the costs of everything are quite low. The most important aspect of what I need to focus on is how to make more money. Maybe working harder at my job to try to get a raise, things like this, right? So overall, I'm pretty optimistic about the trajectory. I hope that throughout the next year, I'm able to exponentially increase my net worth. I think we're doing quite good so far. Could be better, could be worse. I thank everyone that's been watching the videos and commenting. You guys are super, super nice and fun to talk to. So I'll catch you guys later. Take care.